Hey guys, Krisha here. Please be cautious of any fake comments and emails you may receive from people pretending to be Mango Research. Sean and I will never, ever contact you for investment opportunities or anything of that sort. To get in touch with the real Mango team, make sure to join our official Discord chat using the link in the description below. Stay safe out there, and remember, do it Mango. And what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. My name is Krisha, and this is going to be a very quick update on Binance coin. That's right, BNB. But just a quick heads up, I have not done any preliminary analysis on BNB today, so we will pretty much be dissecting this one together. Okay, so we're first going to start off with the Mango dashboard and go ahead and filter out BNB. Cool beans. So BNB USDT, I'm currently on that daily time frame on the Mango dashboard. BNB USDT gave us a neutral trend change 3 days ago. Okay. BNB BTC also gave us a neutral trend change 1.4 days ago. Okay, so it's a pretty neutral picture right across the board. Now, today we are seeing plenty of coins actually have a pullback. Speaking of plenty of coins, I actually just wrapped up an analysis on Cardano. So if you guys haven't already caught that one, make sure to catch that one. I will link it above. Okay, so quick heads up on that. So now BNB USDT, let's get into the charts. I'm currently on the 4-hour time frame. Why, I don't know, but let's go ahead, start off with the daily. Now, the last time we covered BNB, I gave you guys a bunch of levels, right? I told you that, hey, I am going to use my magical TA techniques to allow me to forecast regions of support and resistance right after price gets into, well, blue sky breakout. And so far, as you can see my chart, I mean, I think price did really well off of those regions of support and resistance that I drew out for you guys. So I was very pleased with that. But so right now this is the daily time frame, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually first going to start off with a weekly, since today is a Friday. Happy Friday, by the way. Today's a Friday and we have about 2 more days left on this candle. Okay. So now the previous candle, what I noted on the last weekly close is that we closed underneath resistance. Now the key major weekly resistance that I was looking at came in at $314. However, as soon as this new weekly candle began, okay, we saw that immediate continuation to the downside. Okay, the entire market saw a pullback and BNB followed suit. Another thing that I really wanted to bring to your attention here, okay, is that, and this is something that I mentioned in the last video as well, is that BNB on the weekly time frame, as soon as it took out its highs here, I want you to notice how price actually got over that resistance. We took out resistance that marked the all-time high for BNB. Okay, we consolidated on support. At that point, I even brought up that beautiful Mango dynamic that pretty much caught the entirety of BNB's move, right? That was a good 650% to the upside. But the key thing that I mentioned there was BNB got into super volatile territory. Okay, volatility is good for as long as you have some level of risk management in place. Okay, so now we saw that beautiful volatile move to the upside, making everyone very happy. But I also told you guys that, hey, if you're going to see the volatility to the upside, then expect the same sort of volatility to the downside as well. And that's exactly what we saw on this brand new weekly candle. Okay, so right now, as things have sort of unfolded throughout this week, I'm noticing that price actually lost this next major level that I was looking at 257. We're currently hovering underneath that. We have not closed this candle yet. However, this is crypto, so anything can happen in a matter of 48 hours if we manage somehow to take back $257 once again. So I'm looking for this candle to close over $257 on the weekly close, okay, which happens in 2 days. If we close over this region, all right, I will be looking for continuation to the upside. At the very least, for price to come up and contest 314, going all the way up to this wick high right here at 335. Us taking out 335, which is the wick high, is going to have bullish implications for BNB. Okay, I will be anticipating further continuation to the upside, going all the way up to 385 and then to 448. Okay, but so far, I mean, this picture is looking, it's looking weak here, okay, for the time being. And when I say weak, I'm not saying exactly bearish, okay, because, I mean, guys, just look at this. You can be bearish on this, okay? But what I'm saying is that we may go into some level of consolidation. All right. However, we'll let those lower time frames really paint the picture for us. But what I'm seeing here is the dynamic is green. If for whatever reason we actually close this weekly candle underneath 257, then the next point I likely will be looking at is how price reacted off of 226. If we start holding 226 as support on the weekly, then I'll be anticipating at the very least a test of 257 going all the way up to 286. Okay, but at this, what you guys need to understand is if BNB closes underneath 257, we have essentially entered a new range of price action. Okay, the range being from 257 going all the way down to 198. All right, but the weekly is looking decent right now, so let's get on over to the daily and see what the daily is telling us. And holy moly, just look at this chart. The dynamic has been so on point with the whole BNB move. Like, it actually caught the entirety of that 650% move to the upside. This was that weekly resistance that I showed you guys, right? We consolidated on that, and as soon as price actually took it out, so we took it out right here, right? You didn't even have to play the weekly, you could have just played the daily. Okay, we took that out right here. Just look at that move. What was that? From this point all the way up here, 653%. And notice how price actually gave you, like, the dynamic turned purple, telling you that, hey, this is neutral territory. Okay, but notice how well price held support. All right, so that was an entire zone of accumulation. And then the dynamic turned green. We had that beautiful break, and then 650%, voila. There you go. Okay, and now notice what we're doing here. Okay, dynamic once again turned purple. Okay, once again the dynamic is also in line with support at $200. Okay, we have not lost this yet. Okay, it's only once the dynamic starts turning red and price starts living underneath these regions of support will I really turn bearish on this chart. Okay, so I'll be looking for three things to anticipate BNB USDT actually seeing continuation to the downside on the daily. First thing, okay, price living underneath that dynamic, okay, which comes in at $200. Price also breaking that region of support that I've drawn out for you guys, which also comes in at $200. And price taking out this wick low right here. All right, that marks that low on the chart. Now this one comes in at $186. We take out, so it's almost like a zone. All right, let me mark this out for you. From the dynamic to that beautiful $200 horizontal to that wick low, that's a beautiful zone. This zone is approximately, let me get my scale tool out, measure the zone. That's about a good 10%. Okay. What's important to note about this 10%, while 10% sounds like a lot, and it is, don't get me wrong, but I want you to first assess 10% relative to the current volatility on the chart. Okay, each candle, now this candle alone was 7%, this one was 10%, this was 13, this was 9, this was 16, and guys, all of these percent moves are not including the wicks. Take that in. Okay, they're not including the wicks. If you take the wicks alone, the volatility on each one of these candles was a lot more than what I just relayed out to you. So I will not be surprised if price actually manages to come down, get an official test of the dynamic, as well as that $200 region, okay, only for us to see continuation to the upside. So I'll be looking for a price reacts off of this range for me to anticipate any further continuation to the downside. Okay, this could change picture, but what I will be looking for on the daily primarily is for us to actually start living over this region of resistance coming in at $257. And I want you to notice where that dotted line is coming up to, right? It's the same thing. We have confluence on this entire range. The dynamic lines up with support at 200. The dotted line lines up with resistance at 256. Us taking out 256 on the daily time frame, and I want you to notice we lost it here and we've been holding it as resistance now for 3 days. Okay, us taking out 256 will send BNB propelling to another region of resistance. Okay, the next major region only comes in at $313. Okay, but now let's get on over to the 4-hour time frame very quickly and see what we are doing here. And this is nice. Okay, so this is cool. I like this 4-hour time frame. So there are a few developments on this chart that I'm seeing like right off the bat. Okay, now the first one is this. BNB, okay, now ever since it started this downtrend, okay, and yes, it is a downtrend, we're putting in a series of lower highs. We've had one high here, we set in the high here, we had a lower high here, we had a lower high here, and one here. Okay, now if we have to just look at the structure, I can go ahead and in fact draw in a trend line. Okay, so it's becomes very easy when you see price action like this. Essentially, for this entire picture to flip, okay, for us to actually change, for us to take a turn into some sort of bullish momentum, I will be looking for price to take out this wick high right here. This too lines up with resistance at $284. I'll be looking for at least a wick beyond that $284, or even better, a candle body close past that. Okay, so if we can actually see that move to the upside, take this out, I will be looking for continuation to the upside. Okay, the first major point of resistance comes in at 314, going all the way up to these highs right here at 346. That's where we actually saw BNB top out, right? Us taking out 346 will have further bullish implications for BNB. Okay, but so far, I mean, this looks decent. As long as, like I said, as long as we're not taking out this range of support to the downside, so we're not seeing a wick past this region right here, or a candle body close underneath this entire region right here, I think this BNB has, it's got a chance of revival. Okay, so now this is what BNB USDT is doing. Let's get on over to BNB BTC. And okay, I'm going to start off with the weekly time frame. Once again, we're closing the weekly in about 2 days. Oh, this actually looks pretty decent. Okay, so the last time I covered BNB BTC with you guys, I was looking at this region of, resistance back then, now turned support. Now that we've taken it out, we've closed one candle over it already. Right, this came in at 455,000 sats, essentially marking the highs of that last bull market, okay, for BNB BTC. So this is a multi-year resistance that BNB took out last week. So we had a candle body close, okay? You can see close, we dipped back down to support and even beyond that, only for price to get picked right back up. Okay, if we manage to close this weekly candle over this 455,000 sat region, I will be looking at that as a confirmation, okay? A confirmed break of multi-year resistance. And I think that's actually going to look really, really good for the BNB bulls. Okay, we may very well see continuation to the upside, but now let's get on over to maybe the lower time frames to see if we could, you know, what this picture is really telling us. And it looks good, damn. Okay, so the dynamic, once again, just like how we saw on BNB USD, is also neutral. Okay, price is currently living over support and over, holy moly, over the dotted line. Okay, so this actually looks better than even BNB USD right now. And once again, the dynamic caught the entirety of the freaking move here as well. Okay, and so far, honestly, just bird's eye view, this is looking more like a bull flag than anything else. But does that mean that this cannot break down? No, of course not. But we're gonna have to dissect this a little more. But what's key here is that price is respecting that weekly region of support coming in at 455,000 sats. Okay, notice, and this is why those macro regions of support and resistance is very important, because they always tend to have cascading effects even onto those lower time frames. And this is a very, very good representation of that, right? Drew this out on the weekly, but the daily price is also respecting that region of support. Okay, so far I think this picture is looking good. What I do not want to see from BNB BTC, if we still have to maintain a bullish posture here, is for price to stay above this wick low right here. Okay, now the wick low comes in at 411,000 sats. Okay, just a quick heads up, guys, I'm either rounding up or down here on when I'm talking about the sats. So 411,000 sats. Okay, so as long as we're maintaining this wick low as the low, I think BNB BTC could very well see some level of bullish consolidation being put in here. Okay, possibly a symmetrical triangle, but we'll have to wait for more information on the chart to actually come to that conclusion. Okay, but so far the structure is looking symmetrical triangle-ish, if that's even a thing. But okay, now let's get on over to the 4-hour time frame, see if the 4-hour could be giving us any additional tip-offs. And what do you know? Once again, guys, cascading regions of support and resistance. This pink region of resistance was also drawn out on the weekly time frame, and we can see price respecting it even on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, in fact, this is looking somewhat of a this actually may be an inverted head and shoulders, possibly. Could be looked at as an inverted head and shoulders. Or maybe I'm grabbing onto straws, but if it is a bullish inverted head and shoulders, I'll have to go and double check on that with my volume confirmation. But if this actually breaks to the upside, it would take BNB BTC all the way up to 653,000 sats, essentially taking out this wick high right here. If price takes out this wick high right here, I will be looking for further continuation to the upside. But I think the major level, okay, the major point of resistance that we all need to keep our eyes peeled on if this has to see continuation to the upside is going to be this one, okay, coming in at 534,000 sats. This is going to be important. Okay, irrespective of whether or not we have a pattern play here, this region of resistance is key. All right. Now, this is all I have for you, honestly, for BNB. I don't think it's looking bearish, okay, but I don't think it's looking bullish on the lower time frames either. I think the neutral signal on the dashboard is warranted, okay? We'll have to wait for price to take out regions of resistance on both charts, on the USD chart as well as the Bitcoin chart, in order for us to anticipate any further upside movement. Okay, so we're currently sort of scrunched up in a range there on both pairings. So if we start breaking support to the downside, then I'm saying likely continuation to the downside. Okay, but if we start breaking a resistance to the upside, then hey, continuation to the upside. But guys, the macro for BNB USD is still in bullish territory. Okay, it's got a lot of buffer room to play with because of the volatility that stepped in on that chart. Now, this is all I have for you with this. Trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao, guys.